Oof.
Hey, what's
Oof.
up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. Here with us today is our co host, Irv, back at it again with another show. We're here on season 7, episode number 22, here on the Fire Sports Pod. We're coming to you guys on Friday night, 7:17 currently. We got some NBA playing games happening right now. NBA playoffs start tomorrow. We are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. So we're going to be just going over our playing picks. Obviously, your playing game is starting right now between Miami and Atlanta. And then later tonight is the game that you always want to watch between Dallas and Memphis. Whoever wins that will play OKC, and whoever wins the Miami and Atlanta game will play Cleveland. So we'll be going over just recapping our picks from Recap Monday, just to let you guys know. And then we're going to be going into our NFL mock draft. So we're going to be doing a simulator, and we're going to be literally going through all 32 picks um, of the first round and where we think some guys will go. Obviously, we could do some like trades and stuff. We know that there's probably going to be some trades. I'm not going to really go on a limb here and go into the trade aspect of it, but we will definitely go into the different picks that I think is going to be happening throughout the NFL. So let's get right into it. Here, could we start with the NBA play-in, and the NBA playoffs is upon us. It is going to be one hell of a ride up until the end of May into June. So it's pretty good. All right. So, Irv, I'm going to let you start off here with us today. And just to
All
go
right.
over, what are you thinking is going to happen between Sacramento tonight and the Dallas Mavericks? Because, man, we got one hell of a show. It's going to be a pretty good show for us.
Yeah. I personally didn't watch the Mavericks and Kings game for the play-in, but I just saw that AD had a master class. I think he had like a good 28 points. So him playing at the fourth position was really good. I'm actually surprised that the Mavericks held up their own against the powerhouse. But it just goes to show that DeRozan and Levine as the backcourt is not really helping Sacramento a lot. I think defensively is they're kind of lacking a little bit. So hopefully, next season they could try to figure some things out. I know that Sabonis still kind of in the prime of his career. The Kings need to probably either entertain some trade options for Sabonis so they could do a little rebuild, or they could extend it and trade Demar. I know Demar's old as well. I don't know how valuable that would be, but just having Demar and Levine as the backcourt defensively just didn't help, and it just showed there in the play-in against the Mavericks. So, but yeah, congrats to the Mavericks. They're going up against the Grizzlies, and John Morant had a really bad ankle injury against the Warriors during that play-in game. Don't know. I think he's going to be back and he's going to return, but I don't really know how that's going to work out. But they do have Desmond Bain, who was literally playing like a Steph Curry against us. His shooting was absolutely incredible. He got into his spots when inside the paint, was aggressive. Jerry Jackson Jr. as well was a catch and shoot threat from the three. Very good defensively as well. So this is a really good matchup for this playing game for the eighth seed. Um, and yeah, my pick for tonight's game, I'm probably gonna go with and with a healthy John Morant, I'm taking the Grizzlies. I just think they're all around like defensively they're better, offensively they're better than the Mavericks. Even though we just saw, you know, with a healthy roster, obviously without Kyrie Irving, what they did to the Kings, but the Kings are not the Grizzlies. So I'm gonna take the Grizzlies to take this matchup tonight if John Morant is healthy. Um and even not, I think they'll still win by like a little bit. And then going to the Bulls and the Heat, that game was absolutely crazy. I did not think that the Heat will blow out the Bulls. I did have the Bulls in recap Monday. I did pick the Bulls to win, but I also did mention I wouldn't be surprised if the Heat won, and they won by a huge margin. Tyler Hero dropped almost 40 points that game. The Heat absolutely dominating. Currently, right now, they are versing the Hawks. Zach, I don't know if you have the score, so you
Yeah.
could just quickly tell me the score
Miami's
real quick.
up 21-14. Andrew Wiggins just airballed the jump shot.
Wow. So I mean, you have a fully healthy starting lineup with the Heat against the Hawks, who struggled against the Magic. There's a little bit of frustration there for the Hawks, but I think they're coming with a chip in their shoulder. So I don't know. For now, I'm just gonna ride the Miami current. I really think that they're gonna use the same momentum that they did against the Bulls. They're gonna use it against the Hawks. I mean, they're playing two away games, and the first away game is Chicago. Absolutely obliterated the Bulls. So I think it's going to be the same result. Not obliterated, but they're definitely probably going to take the dub against the Hawks. So I'm going to take the Heat on this one.
All right. And I'm gonna have to agree with both picks. I did my picks earlier, so if you guys here on TikTok Live, which you are, that is where we're rocking. I like the Mavericks. No one really was able to say anything about Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson put in a good 23 that game against the Sacramento Kings. I don't think it was because Sacramento just couldn't play. They couldn't hit a damn shot, dude. They could not hit a shot, and they could not stop anybody. I think, like you said, I agree with the defensive aspect. They really need to bolster that side of the ball in the offseason. Maybe that you're not getting rid of Sabonis or Levine. You might maybe say goodbye to DeRozan and just try to get a defensive anchor in there because they definitely are lacking that. But other than that, I just think they couldn't hit a shot. I don't think it was because they just couldn't compete against the Mavericks. I just think they couldn't make a shot, and the Mavericks were making everything. And I don't think that's going to happen against Memphis tonight. I think Memphis is a much better defensive team, and they're just bigger, and they got much more talented guys. Obviously, you have Klay Thompson and Anthony Davis, but Klay is not the same Klay when he was in Golden State. AD is still AD, but I'll take John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Desmond Bain over a guy that's only basically one dude. No disrespect to Klay, but he's not a 25, 30 points a game scorer anymore. So I would say that laws of averages, if you do math, 3 against 2 or 3 against 1, you should win. So I'm going to take Memphis with the win. Then moving on to the Miami Heat versus Hawks that's happening now. I picked the Heat to win this game. I think the Hawks are just they just don't have enough. Trae Young is not enough, as you saw against the Magic. They were in that game in the fourth quarter, and then it was an ultimate collapse. Atlanta and Trae Young were just getting into it with the refs. They were not focusing on the game. They were more focusing on the refs, and then ultimately that was their demise. They were not able to kind of get back from that, and I literally look up after playing 2K and they're down by 25. I did not expect that as well. So yeah, I'm gonna ride with the Heat culture, as of Irv said as well. I think it's gonna be Heat versus Cavs, and then it's gonna be Memphis versus the Thunder. So that's pretty much it for our playing games. Like I said, if you guys want to know what our picks were for the playoffs seedings, you can go back to Recap Monday. But just to go, we went into detail about the series, but just to recap what we picked for this coming weekend. For the entire first round, we have the Thunder beating the Memphis Grizzlies in 6 games. And then for the Nuggets Clippers, I have the Clippers winning in 6. I believe, Irv, you said you have the Clippers winning in 7, if I'm not
No,
mistaken.
you said 7. I said 6.
Okay. I thought it was flipped
Yeah.
around.
No, I said that they're gonna win it. Wait, no.
No. You said
No,
Clippers.
no. I think I said 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I think I
said
said
6.
7. You said
So
6. Yeah.
we both have Clippers winning. I have them in 6. Irv has them in 7. Lakers versus Timberwolves. We both have Lakers winning in 6. Potentially could be 5, but I'm giving respect to the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards, he's definitely going to get 2 games. So I got the Lakers winning in 6. Rockets versus Warriors. I think the Warriors are coming in there. I don't care what Colin on the herd says about the Warriors being old. I don't give a shit about that. Rockets are not beating them. I got the Warriors winning in 6 games. I think Irv said potentially it could be 7, depending on how well Houston plays. So,
Yeah, especially since their top tier defense
and
and
they're
the
young
last
as
time they
shit.
played.
They're
Yeah,
fast.
and the last time that they played, Curry only had I think what 3 points.
Yeah, so it's
So it
gonna be
really
tough.
depends.
Yep. All right. So now that's the West. The East, we have the Cavs beating the Heat in 4 games. I think, right? I think we kind of, no matter if it was Chicago or the Heat, it was kind of,
Yeah, they were gonna sweep.
Okay.
Hmm.
Then Pacers Bucks. This is where I have the Bucks winning in 7. I think Irv, you said the Pacers were going to win in 6, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, he has the Pacers winning in 6. I have the Bucks winning in 7.
Well, I don't. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt,
Yeah.
but Dame. I don't know if you saw, but
Yes,
Damian
Dame got
Lillard
cleared.
got cleared, but he's gonna miss game one. But that doesn't mean he might return. So
So that's why
maybe
I'm
as the playoffs go on, I might switch. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I probably might have the Pacers in 7, not 6. But if Dame comes back and judging on how he performs,
yeah.
I might have to switch my answer.
Huh. So yeah, I got the Bucks in 7 right now. Irv's got the Pacers in 6. Knicks, Pistons. We both have the Knicks winning. But I think Irv, you said you had the Knicks winning in 6. I had the Knicks winning in 7. So
Yeah, yeah. I had the Knicks winning in 6. Yeah.
so yeah, I got the Knicks winning in 7. Celtics, Magic. I got the We both got the Celtics winning in 5. I think the Magic get 1 game. There's a potential game 6 at the end, but the Magic probably plays really well, but then the Celtics, just because of their championship experience, and
Yeah.
at the end of the game they get the job done, so they win in 5. So that's basically the recap of the NBA playoffs, first round and play-in games. If you guys have any questions, you guys can DM me, comment on my post, ask me what my picks were. We're going to be going over my actual picks on TikTok tomorrow when the playoffs start, so stay tuned to that. But other than that, guys, that is pretty much it. We're going to be moving on to the NFL draft. And this is going to be something new that I've done, which is the mock draft, where I actually we're doing a mock simulator, which I found or that we could do. So we're going to share our screen and I'm going to show you guys what we'll be doing. And this is basically going to be the mock draft here. So this is pretty much it. So we got a mock draft here of basically what's happening here. We got all the 32 teams, what they need to do. We'll start it now. We're going to take a quick break. I will be right back with some NFL mock draft stuff. Peace out, guys, for just a sec. All right, guys, we are back and we are going into the mock draft. So let us get right into it. Here we go. So that if you guys are understanding any questions, whatever in the chat, just let me know. But right now, we're gonna start the draft. Irv has it on his side as well. So we're starting the draft here. Now, guys, we have been talking over the last, I don't know how many times we've done NFL stuff and segments and stuff like that. But right now, guys, I think Tennessee in the grand scheme of things, Irv, what are your thoughts on Tennessee and who you think they should pick? I think they got to go with probably a quarterback if I'm not mistaken. What do you think?
Yeah, I think 100%. I think Will Levis last season didn't really produce as well as what the organization thought he was going to be. I mean, when they picked up him as a quarterback and he became a starter for the whole season, they were looking for a promising young talent, but obviously it just didn't work well with him. Obviously, having a little rocky relationship with the coach as well. So I think over here, I think they probably might take Cam Ward at number one. I mean, he's projected to go number one regardless of who's the number one pick. And I just think overall, whether he didn't play in a comp conference when he was with the Hurricanes, but he's still a really good quarterback, very mobile. He knows how to move in the pocket, knows how to dot his receivers well. So I think they take Cam Ward as the number one pick.
But do you think potentially there could be a change here and they could try to draft Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter? Because
Uh
remember, we had these these are the
yeah.
top 6 here.
Right. Abdul Carter, I don't think they're gonna draft Abdul Carter. I don't think their main focus right now is defense. They need a quarterback. Excuse me. Like I said, their main focus isn't to get one of the best edges in the league. They need a quarterback. They need the best of the best in this draft, only because the last season's quarterback was not good at all for them. So Travis Hunter, I mean, I think he's registered this year as a cornerback. He's not going to be a
Yeah.
wide receiver, even though depending on who he goes to, He might be able to play both positions. He might be able to play the wide receiver position. But for now, he's going to be playing cornerback. And again, I don't think that's what they need. I think the main focus that they need right now is a young quarterback, whether if it's Shador, whether if it's Cam Ward. They just need the best of the best in this draft when it comes to quarterback. So I think they're going to take the quarterback. And I think it's
All
going to be
right, so
Cameron Ward.
we're gonna draft Cam Ward. I agree with him on this. I could see maybe Shador. I just don't think Shador. I think Shador's going to the Giants. If I'm being honest, I think Shador goes to the Giants. But Cam Ward, I think, is going to be drafted by Tennessee. So Tennessee has been drafted Cam Ward. Now for us, round one, pick number 2 goes to Cleveland. Now this is a little tricky. What do they need? I think they might stay with what they have at quarterback. And I think they might go with Abdul Carter. I really think they do. I think they hold down a defensive anchor to keep, even though Myles Garrett, I think that was really the reason for Myles Garrett to return. Like they were like, yo, we're going to take Abdul Carter. We're going to get you some help on that defensive edge. And we're going to help you out with drafting one of the best, if not the best, edge rushers in the game coming into to the NFL. What is your thoughts on that? Or do you think they take like a Travis Hunter? Or do they go and they take a quarterback in Shador? I just don't think Shador goes to Cleveland. I just don't with Deshaun Watson there. I just don't think it's the right fit. I think they probably go with Abdul Carter.
In my opinion, for the Cleveland Browns, I just think that um Deshaun Watson is just untrustworthy. He has taken a lot of money from Cleveland, already being injured, what, two and a half seasons in a row already. We haven't even seen them healthy for a full Cleveland Browns season.
Yeah.
So I think what they do is that they invest in the future, and I think they take, excuse me, I think they take Shador only because I feel like he's just untrustworthy. I feel like they might trade Deshaun Watson to get either better picks, maybe a better player, who knows. But I like the Shador pick better because I feel like the Browns need to start reinvesting in their future. They already extended Myles Garrett, who is arguably the best edge in the league. So by getting him, you already have the defense set, and then you also have a couple of underdogs, a couple of people that go under the radar on the Browns. I'm not too sure of their names, but I know I have seen a bunch of reports, pretty much saying like that the Browns do have a low key of a squad, but I just think they're missing that quarterback piece. Now Travis Hunter would be good, but again, I'm not trying to trust Deshaun Watson only because he's been hurt for so long and he's taken so much money from Cleveland that I feel like that they might reinvest themselves for the future and get a future quarterback in Shador. That's what I think.
Okay. I'm gonna. You have the thing up there, right? Correct. You can make your own. You can make your pick, or no, you don't have it yet.
No, I don't have it, but I mean, it's. I know it's your draft at the end, so whatever you think is the best pick for you. But I just like Shador.
Yeah, I just don't think he's the right fit there, man. I really don't. I don't think it's gonna work out that well. I just think that edge rusher was a big thing, and their defense was lacking a lot when it comes to the pressure. It was just Myles Garrett. And if you look for what they need, yes, QB's there, cornerback is number one, edge rusher is there. I think they roll with Abdul because you can. But remember, next year there's going to be, if they have a bad year, at least they lock up one of the best defensive guys. And if they have a bad year next year, they can go for Arch Manning. They can go for somebody else. So I'm on the limb here. I'm going to draft Abdul Carter. I know you're different. We'll see on draft night when that happens. But I think Abdul Carter goes to Cleveland.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
All right, so Cleveland takes Abdul Carter. Now, here's the Giants. Now, this is where I think the Giants have a chance to either fumble the bag bad or or really help out their team. And I think this is the pick where Shador Sanders goes to the Giants. He's been linked to the Giants all throughout the draft stuff, all this other crap. I think he goes to the Giants, and I think that is where he's destined to go. The big apple, the big market. I think that's where he's supposed to go. And I think Shador gets drafted by by the Giants. Do you agree?
Um, I just disagree because one, they already have Tommy DeVito there. They already have Jameis Winston, and they just signed Russell Wilson to a 1 year contract. What I think is that, excuse me, what I think is that they take Travis Hunter here only because they want to see how Russell Wilson plays in New York with Travis Hunter as a wide receiver and Malik Neighbors. And if that's not the case, that's fine. I know that if I only knew their names, but I know that the Giants have a underrated cornerback, have underrated safety as well. And if you pair him up with Travis Hunter, that outfield defense is going to be pretty. It's going to be pretty nice, and I think Travis Hunter is a perfect fit for the Giants because I feel like he would fit anywhere within the defense or even in the offense. So if I was the New York Giants, I would go with Travis Hunter because I already have you know two veteran quarterbacks, and I don't know, maybe I could try to aim for maybe an Arch Manning or maybe the kid from that was in Tennessee. Who knows?
Oh,
But
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, so
All right.
who
I
who
mean, I
knows?
would. I'm gonna. I think because the next pick is New England, and I think New England takes Travis Hunter because they need a cornerback and they also need a wide receiver, and you get the best of both worlds. You can play him at both positions, here, then, and here, that, depending on the thing. And I think that's where. I'm sorry. I just think Jameis Winston is just there to see if Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston's there just to develop a younger quarterback. I think they're not there to win the fucking games. I think they're there to do that. And I think if Shador Sanders doesn't get drafted and they draft Travis Hunter, it's going to be great, but you don't solve your quarterback problem because, yes, Russell Wilson was good with the Steelers, but the Steelers had a lot of good things. They had a defense, they had a wide receivers, they had a good running game, and they had a pretty good offensive line, not a great one. But the Giants have none of that. They have one wide receiver, and that's Malik Neighbors. Other than that, they have literally nobody else. Not nobody that's like big time like Malik Neighbors. And I just don't agree. With if it was a different situation and the quarterback room or the team itself was a little bit better, then yes, I would say go with Travis Hunter. But the fact of the matter, the team sucks and the quarterback room is still atrocious. I don't care what anybody says. It's cool to have Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, but that is just for short term goals. And the long term goal is to try to have um, this Shador Sanders out there for a long time to be able to get this job done. So I'm gonna go again. I hope you write this down so that we could see who was right. So just if you want to write these down or just like make a note of it
All right.
on your phone, Irv, so you can see what you're picked and then what I did and see who was right in at the end of it. But I'm gonna tab the Giants taking Shador. And then I think this is where New England, like I said, takes Travis Hunter. They're in a need for a wide receiver and a cornerback, and I think they get the best of both worlds in Travis Hunter. So I'm really not even going to discuss this as much unless you want to say anything towards it, Irv. But I think New England takes Travis Hunter. I just think it works better for both of them. They need a number one option at wide receiver, and they need a lockdown cornerback. You can get the best of both worlds with this guy, and you already have
Uh,
the quarterback.
for for me, I would have picked Abdul Carter because this is how my lineup is. I had Ward going first, Sanders going second to the Browns. Third, I had Travis Hunter going to the Giants, and then fourth, I have Abdul Carter. Only because I just think right now New England needs defense. I think New England needs that edge rusher, and I think Abdul Carter would be perfect for that New England's defense. so he could apply pressure, and he could put that defense on the map, I guess you can say, because last season I don't think New England's defense was that good, and then this season it would probably be better, especially with a nice edge person like Abdul Carter. So I would have picked Abdul Carter number 4.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Travis Hunter. We have some different takes, but I'm gonna take Travis Hunter.
All right.
For pick 5, we have Jacksonville. Now this is where it gets a little tricky here. Jacksonville, they're in a need. They're not in a need for a quarterback. They're really not in a need for. They're in a need for a wide receiver. They're more in need for a defense, a guy. And I think this is where. I think this is where the top defensive lineman in the game would be Mason Graham. And I think Mason Graham out of Michigan goes to Jacksonville. Obviously, they also need an offensive lineman. But if I'm looking at the next picks, the Raiders now having Geno Smith, they need an offensive lineman. And then or a running back. The Jets as well need an offensive lineman with Justin Fields. So there's a lot that to go, but I think Mason Graham's a good fit for Jacksonville to bolster up their defense because remember, a couple years back, they had one of the best defenses in the game. Their just offense wasn't there. Remember when they played New England in 2017 and 2018 with Blake Bortles? They had one of the best defenses in the league. Yes, that was like 7 years ago, but still, like
Back when Ramsey was there too.
yeah, like they had one of the best defense. I think this is a good step in the right direction for Jackson, picking up a guy like Mason Graham out of Michigan, a winner, a guy that knows how to play defense. So I'm going to take Mason Graham with the draft. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I like Graham to kind of strengthen that defensive line for the Jaguars.
Okay, now here's the issue here I have. The Raiders are at pick 6, and then you have the Jets at pick 7. This is where I think the Jets definitely need an offensive line. You saw how crappy their offensive line was, but the Raiders need one as well. And you got two guys right here. You got Will Campbell and you got Armin Membu from Missouri. I think the Raiders, they have an answer on at quarterback with Geno Smith. They have the head coach. They have the tight end. They have comfortable wide receivers. You can get a wide receiver later in the draft. I think here you need to try to protect Geno Smith and preserve him, especially if you're going to bring in a rookie guy next year that they're looking for probably, or they do it later in the draft in the second round. I think you go with Will Campbell here out of LSU. The way he plays, the way they played with LSU, I mean, he had Jaden Daniels there a couple years ago. So I think Will Campbell's a great pick for the Raiders to help out Geno Smith. Do you agree?
What you're saying is that for the 6th pick that they should focus more on offensive linemen rather than someone else.
Yeah, because yes, they do need a running back, but I think that if you're going to really be able to compete, you're going to need to help and protect your quarterback. If you're not going to protect your quarterback and you're going to let him get sacked, you saw what happened in the Super Bowl this year for the Kansas City Chiefs. The game wasn't even a game because the fact of the matter is the guy Patrick Mahomes didn't have no time. Nobody was able to block anybody. So I would say they have to go offensive lineman. Obviously, you can get a running back later in the draft. You can get a thing. Yes, there's Ashton Genty there. You could get an offensive lineman, but if you get so high pick, I think you go offensive line. Or do you think they go with Ashton Genty at 6?
So with my pick,
yeah, what's your pick?
With my pick, I'm going with Ashton Genty because if you saw how Geno Smith was in Seattle, he was a really good play action type of quarterback.
That is true.
So if you have Ashton Genty in the back there, arguably the best running back in the draft right now, and I don't know if the Raiders have a pick later in the round where they could pick up someone like what's his name from what's the other running back's name?
Junkins from Ohio State.
No. He was another really good quarterback. I
North
think he
Carolina.
played. No. Go to running backs, like all the way on the top of the search.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, running backs.
He Where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Oh,
Oh,
Scatterbo.
Scarabooni.
Yeah, Scatterbo. Arizona
That's a
State running back.
dude. He's a
He's
beast.
he's a beast. I don't know why he's ranked so low. Maybe these other running backs are pretty good. I mean, you have a running back from all the way from North Carolina. Again, I don't judge me, guys. You know what I mean. I just haven't. You know what I mean. I'm just not trusting.
That's
I
where
just I just like him.
that's where I think if the Raiders do they have another pick
That's what
in
I'm
the
saying. I don't know if
first
they have another
round.
pick because if that's the case, then I'll go with you and I'll be like, okay, well, let's go with an offensive lineman in the first round, and then if I have another
Nah,
pick later in the
they
round,
don't have one.
I mean,
They
he's
don't have
projected to go. If you, I don't know if you could scroll down, but he's
He's
kind of
projected to go
he's
83rd. He's an
in the
83rd.
83rd. Yeah. So,
That's like the
but in
third
my
round.
opinion, I'm taking the best running back now because Geno Smith with that play action, he's just going to be unbeatable. I mean, not unbeatable, but I just think that they're going to draw up a lot of plays for Geno Smith and for the offense, and then having Ashton Genty in the backfield as well,
Okay,
knowing how crazy
I'm
dominant he
gonna I'm
was.
gonna agree with you. I'm gonna agree with you here. I like the points that you're making. Um,
Yeah,
I'm gonna definitely agree with you here. I'm gonna take Ashton Genty with the Raiders. I think that works out well with Geno Smith. So let's go Ashton Genty.
yeah,
The Jets, I think the Jets here now they go offensive line. I don't think that's even a thing. I think they pick up Will Campbell from LSU. I don't think we can even judge on that one.
yeah. I agree. I like Campbell going to the Jets because they do need a better offensive line because as you can see, I think Rodgers was probably one of the most sacked quarterbacks last season,
Yeah.
and it
He
was
was
pretty
coming off
bad.
the
So I
Achilles.
think them going for an offensive lineman is a good pick for them.
I agree. I agree. Dottie says, "Are you doing the NHL tonight? You mean the bracket? Yeah, probably. I'll be doing it on live in a little bit just to go over my picks. Irv's not really an NHL guy, so I was gonna do it on I was gonna do it later on TikTok, so I'd post it up so you guys can just check out for that. I'll be coming out soon. Now for the pick number 8, we have the Carolina Panthers. This one's an interesting one. Their really need is at defense, or tight end or cornerback. Um, I'm actually going to go on a limb here. Carolina does also need an offensive lineman, but I'm going to actually go and take. I think Carolina picks up a bona fide um, tight end. I think they go Tyler Warren. They need some help at that offensive position. I think this is a make or break season. But again, they do need defense, and I think defense is more important. So I'm gonna actually go with. I'm gonna change my pick. I'm gonna take Jalen Walker out of Georgia. I think Carolina picks Jalen Walker out of Georgia. I'm locking that in. They definitely need edge, and what helps out a quarterback, yes, a tight end and whatever, but you need a good defense, and I think they desperately need some guys on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm gonna go with Jalen Walker from Georgia.
Yeah, I was definitely looking at McMillan because I know he's the top wide receiver in this draft so far, and McMillan with Bryce Young, that pairing could be pretty interesting.
So I was thinking about that, and I'm glad you put that up there. I was looking at Adam Schefter and Dan Orlovsky talk about that on NFL Live. Adam Schefter, as you guys know, is that guy that tells everybody what's happening in the NFL and all the breaking news and stuff like that. And I'm gonna go and agree with him. I think he said that defense is what helps out a quarterback. As long as you have a good defense, you can really do some things. I think they can get some wide receivers later in the draft. Yes, McMillan is a big time guy from Arizona, but I think their need is more on the defense. They have Adam Thielen, they have a Miles, they have a guy at running back, so they have some pieces around there. I just think you have to go with a guy on defense to help out the offense because you need somebody that could help out the defense. I mean, help out the offense with playing some defense. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
I like your pick with McMillan, but I just think they go with defense more. Saints, their desperate need is actually at QB. This is where I think maybe a splash comes into play. Um, because they really do need a QB, but I think they can get a QB in I
Later
think
in the draft,
they could
I
get a
think a Will Howard or
or Jalen
Ewers would be
Milroe,
nice,
something
or
like that.
Jalen Muro too, because I don't think Jackson Dart. I don't. I mean, the way
No,
he
no, he's
performed at
not
Ole
worth
Miss.
he's not worth the top 10 pick, and there's a lot more
Yeah, yeah, he's
positions that they
not.
need.
I would say that they pick up I would probably say that they pick up maybe a offensive lineman.
I was gonna say
Only
Ahmed Membua from Missouri is a good one. I would probably
yeah, I would only say that because I feel like if they're gonna draft a quarterback in the next round, you know what I mean. I would rather take the best offensive lineman to pair up with that quarterback because the Saints also had a weak offensive line last season, so this would be pretty good for them.
yeah, I agree. And then for pick number 10, we have the Chicago Bears, who have been playing fantastic football, have gotten in their stuff. Their needs are offensive tackle, edge, safety, and wide receiver. Obviously, you have a wide receiver here in McMillan. You have a guy like Taylor Warren. And you have a guy like Will Johnson. Um, I think they go. I think they go. I think they go with a splash here, dude. If I'm not mistaken, they don't really need a. Their tight end is lower. I mean, what do you think? Because Irv, if I'm being honest, there's 32 picks in the first round. Half of 32 is what, around like 16, something like that.
Yeah,
I was thinking we stop at 16 because we're already almost at 40 minutes on the show. So.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine
All
with
right,
me.
so let's go with number 10. What do you think Chicago does do here? They have Tyler Warren at tight end, McMillan at wide receiver, Will Johnson at cornerback, and Kelvin Banks at offensive tackle. What do you think they do here?
I know they picked up. I did. Were they the ones that signed the
Yes.
Chiefs offensive
Yep,
tackle?
and the,
Was
and
it
the
the
Rams
Chiefs?
offensive tackle. They
So
signed.
I personally think, in
Caleb
my
Williams was the
opinion,
most sacked quarterback in the NFL this
yeah,
year.
I
I would
think strengthen it a little bit more by drafting the best offensive lineman, and I think they'll go with Calvin Banks, only
I was,
because
I was gonna say
they signed one of the best offensive linemen with the Chiefs. Although he was battling injuries here and there, he's still the best at his position. And then the Rams offensive lineman is also good as well. So if they go ahead and draft another on top first round offensive lineman to strengthen that core a little bit, it's going to be a lot of good things happening in Chicago. A lot of
oh yeah,
good things,
big time.
especially since Caleb Williams was also one of the most sacked quarterbacks last season.
Yeah, definitely. All right, San Francisco. It's a bit of a weird one here. They're not in need of a tight end, as we know. They're in a desperate need for an offensive tackle and maybe some edge rushing. And a thing. But to be honest, I think they make a splash here, and I think I think they pick up a wide receiver, dude. I think they pick up McMillan. They steal him.
I was just gonna say. I mean, I don't have McMillan on the board obviously because I haven't picked at number 8.
Yeah,
But judging by yours, I mean, they lost Debo Samuels, and I just think they need a good replacement for Debo. So, and I think McMillan,
but the
best
problem
receiver.
is that
Hmm.
their defense was atrocious last year. They lost almost everybody on defense in free agency.
Yeah, yeah,
That's where
true.
I'm like, they might go with an edge rusher to help out Bosa at Georgia here, Mikael
Mikael
Williams,
Williams.
or they go cornerback with Will Johnson, Jahad Barron.
I
But
like Will Johnson. I mean, I like Will Johnson only because I feel like the cornerback position was the weakest point for the
yeah,
49ers.
they couldn't really help anything in the secondary.
Exactly. So if I wouldn't mind Will Johnson, I just wouldn't mind McMillan only because he's still the top wide receiver in the country, like
Yeah,
in this draft. I mean, and
I'm gonna
replacing
go.
Debo Samuels with McMillan, but Will Johnson is a good pickup.
I'm gonna go.
I wouldn't mind.
Go. Will Johnson goes to San Francisco. And then this is where my Dallas Cowboys, as you guys know, I'm not a biased here. Obviously, if I was biased, I would have kept Ashton Genty on the board and had him getting picked by Dallas, where I ultimately want him to go. But being realistically, we don't need a tight end. Our biggest need is wide receiver. Bad.
McMillan would be
We
a
need
def.
and that's where I think McMillan. But That's where San Francisco will be assholes and they take McMillan off the board just to be dicks, and then just leave the Cowboys with taking a cornerback.
For me, I think another position you guys need is an edge. I think Mikael Williams will also be a good.
Yeah, but I'm
Um,
not. I'm not.
no,
This
but
guy's
judging
the best, second
on
best
my
one.
board, I'm judging from
Oh
my
yeah,
board
with you
because I don't
without
have
McMillan.
McMillan,
Yeah, yeah.
so I'm
Then you
definitely
would
gonna
take.
take Mikael Williams.
Okay, but I'm taking McKillen
Yeah,
with my pick.
yeah, McMillan's a good pickup for you guys
McMillan,
if
yeah.
you guys could get him.
Miami at 13. Again, they have wide receiver. They have quarterback. They have a pretty okay defense. They have a running game. They need an offensive line and maybe another defensive line. I think they go offensive tackle here. They need to keep Tua available. I mean, I don't know if they reach all the way down against Josh Simmons from Ohio State, but he's not a bad take, man. But they do need defense. So and cornerback. So I mean, there's a bunch of defensive guys right here. You got Jadad Barron, Mikael Williams, Sherman Stewart, Mike Green, Colston
But are
Lovell.
you really gonna disrespect Warren though?
But no, they don't. They really don't need a tight end though. They have their
I
tight
mean,
end.
I just think Warren is the best tight end in the
I know
draft,
that
and he's
the
getting
people
dropped
that
all
we
the way to
passed don't
13th.
really. Yeah, but
Yeah,
again, the people that we passed don't really need tight ends. And I think Miami doesn't need one. They got Gesicki, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So I'd probably go with, what do you think, cornerback, off or defensive
I think just an offensive tackle because
offensive tackle. So you think they go all the
all
way down and get Josh Simmons?
I would just say offensive tackle only because he was one of the
Tua.
most concussed. I mean, Tua, sorry. I mean, because he had that concussion last
Yeah.
season, and he's battling with concussions because he's not being protected well. So I think they might go with a Josh Simmons here at offensive tackle.
Okay, remember, you could see a trade. Remember, Miami could be a team to trade from 13 up to the top 10 to try to get one of those top offensive line guys. So that's
Yeah,
where something that you could keep an eye out. But I think they go offensive tackle without a doubt. Outside, yeah. Um, Offensive tackle, I got Josh Simmons going to Miami. And this is where the Colts get Tyler Warren. They are in desperate
okay.
need of a tight end, and I think Tyler Warren goes 14 to the Colts.
Yeah, that's a good pickup for the Colts. I like
Yep.
that pickup.
4 to 15 is the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, the Atlanta Hawks, the Atlanta Falcons. Jeez, we're talking about NBA. I'm watching it right now. The Falcons, they're in desperate need for probably an edge rusher or a linebacker. Or a cornerback. I think they go with Jahad Barron and help out at that cornerback position. I think they go with him at 14. I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that because I was gonna go with Williams, but Williams is off my board, so I'm gonna go with Barron
yeah, I'm
to
going to go
go
with Barron. All right. Now,
15.
number 16, you have the Arizona Cardinals. They need an edge, and I think they don't even think about it. I think they go with Georgia. Georgia produces one of the best defensive guys in the league, as well as offensive as well. I think defense is their thing. I think Georgia has Mikael Williams going to Arizona.
Again, like I said, Williams is off my board, so I'm gonna just go with Stewart because
Okay.
he's probably the best next available
And
edger
to
in
be honest, that's
the
funny
draft.
how you said that, because I'm actually going to go with Sherman Stewart going to Cincinnati. They need to help out. They need to get some defense there. Their defense was absolutely atrocious last year.
Yeah,
So they need Stewart's help there, and I think Texas A&M is a good one.
for me, I'm gonna go with Mike Green only because he's again the next available guy. Because Stewart's off. Um, yeah, the Stewart's off. So I'm gonna go with him.
All right. And then we have the Seattle Seahawks. We're here at pick 18. They're in an outside Jesus Christ. I'm speaking
Whoa.
gibberish over here. I think they go with I don't know. This is a different thing. I think Seattle um I think Seattle probably goes, if I'm being honest, I think Seattle goes wide receiver here, man. because they only got one wide receiver right now, like a
Yeah,
bonus.
especially
And
I
And
think
Jigba's the only wide receiver. I think they go Matthew Golden out of
I
Texas.
think Golden's a good pickup for Seattle because they have um what's his name?
And
He
Jigba.
just no, the quarterback. They
Oh,
have
Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold, and I think that's going to be a nice wide receiver pairing because I know Golden has good speed, so I like Golden at that
Yeah.
spot.
Okay, Tampa Bay. This is your guy, your team. What do you need? What do you need? I'm gonna let you do this pick. What do you need? What do you need?
Honestly, if I'm being realistic, we're probably going to pick a defensive guy,
You want
because
linebacker? Jahad Campbell
that's what we
out of
always do.
Alabama. I don't really trust Mike
I like
Green.
yeah, I like Campbell. I mean, he's from Alabama,
Yeah,
linebacker position, and yeah, I like. And then because we already have an edge too. We have Dobby, the rookie from last
and your
season. So
safety's not terrible too. Your safety's not
yeah,
bad.
so I like Campbell at that 19 spot for Tampa Bay.
All right. That's awesome. So now we have the 20th pick where the Denver Broncos, where I think running back is something that they probably desperately need. They also maybe need a pair and a tight end, and I think they go with tight end here, man. If I'm not mistaken, I think they go with Golston Loveland from Michigan. I think they pick up a tight end here to help out their guy, a Bo Nix. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that Michigan pick only because I'm not really gonna trust a running back. I mean, I don't know how good Hampton was in North Carolina, but
Yeah, I just think that the
I
tight
like
end
the
is
level
something that they
better.
really need. Running back you can get later, and you could develop guys as well. Pittsburgh, um, I think
Wait,
Pittsburgh.
we're at pick 21 by the way. Just
Yeah,
to
I
let you
know. I'm
know.
just gonna keep going. We're at
All
still
right,
only 46 minutes, so I'm gonna just keep going. Pittsburgh
all right.
here. I'm gonna roll, and I think they go. If I'm not mistaken, dude, with the whole situation with Aaron Rodgers right now, I think they go QB, dude.
They have no QBs.
I think
I don't think they
I
don't
think
have a backup QB
no,
like that's good enough.
I think they go Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. I've been wanting. I think
Nah,
that
I
this
don't know
pick was
about
gonna.
Jackson Dart. I don't know about
No,
Jackson
you don't
Dart
think
though.
so? So who would you then
I
take? Jalen Milrow, all the way at all the way over there. I mean, Jalen Milrow is not bad. I mean, you want to make a splash. You think Jackson Dart doesn't go in the first round? You think it's
I mean, how do you think he performed for Ole Miss back
I
then?
think Jackson Dart is good, but I like Milrow's upside. Hold on, let me see. Jackson Dart's uh NFL draft. Let's see, where is he? Oh shit.
What happened?
Q Steeler, QB Jackson Dart. It will not be attending the NFL draft in Green Bay. So Steelers QB prospect changes mind on NFL draft. Steelers QB prospect. That's why I'm saying like they're really
They're in need of a QB.
does Jackson Dart go to the Steelers? No, there's no definite confidence that will be drafted by Pittsburgh. While the Steelers have shown interest in him and hosted him for a pre-draft visit, he's not guaranteed to be their selection at pick 21. The Steelers are also considering other quarterbacks, including the possibility of signing Rodgers. I think Jackson Dart, though, is picked by the Steelers. If I'm being honest, I think Jackson Dart gets picked by the Steelers. They bring in Aaron Rodgers to develop him, and then in the future, Jackson Dart is the pick for Steelers starter. I'm gonna go Jackson Dart.
I wouldn't mind that pickup. I mean, even if they draft Rodgers, that's going to be a good development for Jackson Dart. Maybe I might be wrong about him, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
Chargers here. They're they're a weird one, man. They don't need the running back. Safety something that they could really help out. I think they go with a tight end. They're all the way down there.
Yeah,
I think
I don't think they're gonna go with a tight end in the first round
yeah, no,
because all the good ones are just you could literally get them later in the draft.
if I'm being honest, I think they go with a they probably go with a cornerback. What are the cornerbacks looking like? That's Maxwell Harrison. Nah, man, I'm gonna be honest. I think they go safety here. I think they go Malachi Starks from Georgia.
Well, if I'm being honest, I think they just lost Nick Bosa. No,
That is true. Yes. So
so
Mike
I would
Green.
probably go with Mike Green because he's the
Okay,
next available edge.
I
So
like
I'll
that.
probably
All right,
go
let's
with Mike
take that.
Green.
Green Bay.
But
What?
Green, wait, Green. No, sorry, it's because Green's out of my board. So
Oh, you're good.
I'll probably go. If Green's not there,
Go with Kenneth Grant. He's a defensive line.
yeah, I'll probably just stick with Grant.
All right, now Green Bay. they're in need of a cornerback. Uh,
Yeah, I think defense is what they need pretty much.
defense as well. I think they go with safety though, even though they're not like that's not their thing. They're in a need of one, so I'm gonna take
I
safety.
don't
I
think
got
so. I don't think so because they have. Sorry, I don't think so because they have Alexander as safety. I wouldn't want to
mm,
put him there.
true. Didn't think of that. All right, so then cornerback, Maxwell Harrison out of Kentucky, or they might go at Ibuke out of Ohio State as a wide receiver. What do you think?
Wait, what's that kid's name from Ohio State? He's not going for the draft. He's staying an extra season in Ohio.
Oh, that's Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, is he going for the draft or he's staying an extra
No,
season?
he's saying he has to. He has to. He's not eligible yet.
Ah,
So
okay.
I'm thinking about Enebuke going to the Green Bay Packers at
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind it. Ed Buke going.
Minnesota at 24. They're in a need for safety. I think they pick up Malachi Starks. Houston at 25. Offensive tackle or wide receiver. Um, hmm.
I don't know about wide receiver because they still have Tank and they still have
Yeah,
Collins. I
I'm
know
gonna go
Tank's
with
coming back from from injury,
I'm gonna
but
go
I
with
think
Kenneth Grant. I think they need help on defense, man.
I'll probably go. Can you click edge for the edge real quick? Uh, what about offensive tackles? Can you go to offensive tackles, please? I got them
Josh
picking
Cornley Jr. for.
corner. Yeah, I got them
All right,
picking him.
let's go with Cornley then. Um, Rams at 26. We gotta hurry up.
I probably like them getting a cornerback better. I don't
Yeah,
think they need a running back. I don't think.
I'm gonna go Maxwell Harrison from Kentucky.
Yeah, yeah, I don't mind that pick.
All right, Baltimore. They need an edge. Um, I think they go James Pierce Jr. from um from
I mean,
Tennessee.
I think for you they probably might go with Grant. I would say go with Grant because he's probably the next available
Okay,
D
I
line.
see what you're saying. All right, let's go Grant. Detroit, they need edge. They need defensive line. I'm gonna go with Derek Harriman from Oregon. Washington, I think they need to bolster up their defense. I'd probably go with they need an edge. I'll go with James.
Or they could have a backup running back.
Yeah, that's true. They could go. You know what? I think they go running back. They I think they go running
Yeah,
back. So let's go. Wait, does Buffalo need a running back? No, they got James Cook. Kansas City need a running back? No, Philly doesn't need a running back. So yeah, I think they can go there. Buffalo. Um, what does Buffalo go with? They need
definitely they need defense. They definitely need defense. Wait, no, because
so
didn't Nick
what do
Bosa
you
sign
think?
with the Buffalo?
Yeah,
Didn't
but
Nick
so I think
need some?
safety. I think safety.
Yeah, I would say they should strengthen their defense.
Yeah, I'll go safety. I'll go Nick from South Carolina. I got them picking them. Kansas City. They need offensive line. Bad.
I
Um,
mean, all the top teams already picked the best
that's
ones in
what
the
happens
draft.
when you get to go to the Super Bowl. You get the
Yeah,
worst stuff. So I'm gonna go with let's go with IOL. I think they go with the North Dakota. I think they go with the guy Taylor Booker, from Alabama.
yeah, yeah. I like that Booker pick.
And then Philly. Philly needs some edge rushing. I think they go with James Pierce Jr. out of
Okay.
Tennessee, and that would be finishing the first round. Your draft is complete. Save. Okay, so just to round up, I have Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Shador, Travis, Mason Graham, Ashton Genty, Will Campbell, Jalen Walker, Armin Mebu, Kelvin Banks, Will Johnson, McMillan, Josh Simmons, Taylor Warren, Jahad Barron, Mikael Williams, Sherman Stewart, Matthew Golden, Jahad Campbell, Colston Loveland, Jackson Dart, Mike Green, Edabuke, Malachi Starks, Josh Cornley Jr., Maxwell Hurriton, Kenneth Grant, Derek Harriman, Amaran Hampton, Nick Mori, Tyler Booker, and James Pierce Jr. So that rounds up the round one of our draft. We'll probably come back and do a round two next week, so because there's a lot of still good stars out there. But other than that, we'll just do rounds two and maybe rounds 2 and 3, depending on how many people there is. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. It was a great show. About 56 minutes here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. That'll be pretty much it for us. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Enjoy the NBA playoffs starting tomorrow. We got a great set of games tomorrow, so enjoy that. We are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. Here's our co-host, Irv, here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. Have a great rest of your guys' weekend, and we'll see you guys on Recap Monday for Season 7, Episode number 23. Peace out, guys.